Suicide Squad number 15, written by Adam Glass, art by Fernando Dagnino. This is yet another tie-in to Death of the Family. And last issue, we had Harley Quinn. She did a favor for the Joker, and then Joker strung her up by the neck and said, like, haha, hee hee, let's see what we can do now. This issue picks up pretty much in the same spot. She's being choked out. And Harley's like, I really like the Joker, because I thought, like, he was great. Not great in the way that he does great things, but great in the way that he was going to change the world, and you were right there next to him. But now I'm not so sure that was the right move, as finally the Joker lets down her chains, and she's able to breathe just long enough to pass out from being oxygen deprived for that long. And as she starts coming to, she sees, like, the original Joker for a second. She's like, I had the most horrible dream that you would cut off your face and become some kind of monster. And Joker's like, monster? Well, I mean, that is actually happening. And as she comes to, we see that Joker is like, no, Harley, I'm not a monster. I'm fully realized. I am exactly what I was always going to be. And now you're going to join me. And he is trapped her in a straitjacket, strapped to a gurney, dangling her over a vat of chemicals, because of course. And we see all of this through a cybernetic, like, bionic eye. And it turns out that Waller and Yo-Yo are watching this happen back from Belle Reve. And it's like, yeah, I knew that Joker was going to show up, Waller says. And so that's why we had Harley on the team. Because we knew eventually Joker would come for Harley. And then we could have finally some, like, in-depth look at the Joker. And Yo-Yo's like, cool, why am I here? And she's like, because I know that you want to be respected, Yo-Yo, so I'm showing you a little bit of respect, okay? So just deal. And as such, in return, I want you to be like my super secret spy to spy on every member of Task Force X. And he's like, all right, works for me. So then back to the fight. Joker is about to drop Harley into the vat. She manages to get her legs free and wraps around Joker's neck, dragging him down with her. He wasn't expecting that, but then he gets his collar stuck on a rock. Harley breaks free and starts to jump out of the hole, and he's like, all right, well, see ya, Mr. J. And then Joker summons up her two pet hyenas that she loved so much, but turns out that he purposely gave them rabies, so they are rabid and coming after Harley. And Harley's like, I can't believe you did this. They were our babies. And it's like, no, they're just like me, fully realized. So Harley punches them a bit. They go after and bite hers somewhat. And she's like, nope, I know what I have to do. I'm so sorry, kitties. And she flips them up over into the vat of chemicals where there's no way for them to escape. And Joker's like, well, all right, you did it. So what? And she's like, I am going to kill you for this. And he basically just tells her, like, no, you're not. You are unable to kill me. You are totally not possible. And then she just punches him in the face. And the fight continues on a little bit until he starts calling her Harleen, saying, like, you never were truly Harley. You always had that little bit of Harleen in you, and that's why you were never fully in on this. And he bites off her ear, and she stumbles over to a furnace nearby as Joker's coming after, and she manages to get one up on, smashes his head into the furnace. His face stays stuck to it for a minute until he reaches up and straps it back on. And then turns out that he had, when he bit off her ear, it was a way of delivering a bit of a toxin into their system. And so she freezes up, she's unable to move, and Joker's like, but don't worry, I'll make you the real Harley soon enough. And Harley's like, maybe you're right. I never felt like I was doing the right thing when we were together, but I did love you. And she kisses Joker, and during the kiss bites off his tongue, which is something. And she's like, yeah, no, here's the thing, Joker, I think we should break up. And Joker's like, Harley, I'm very possessive. And he finally ends up knocking out Harley, dragging her into a back room and shackling her up to a wall and saying, and it's like surrounded with skulls and other bones and stuff like that. And it's like, Harley, here's the thing. You were never the only Harley. All these other people here, all these dead bodies, they were all previous Harleys. And you won't be the last one either. I'm going to leave you in here. You're going to die, and I'll have a new Harley to replace you before you even know it. So long, and just leaves her tied up in there. And at no point did Amanda manage to see where they were. Has no idea how to get to Harley, so she's off the grid. We see Waller walking out with Captain Boomerang, because apparently their deal was only temporarily in place, that they worked together, so Boomerang's just walking out. And as they make their way to the front gates, Harley comes stumbling in. And we see that she managed to basically dislocate and break her wrists enough to get out of the shackles, and she's all bloodied up. But yeah, she managed to make her way out, and Joker's realized this as well. And then for one final page reveal, turns out Deadshot isn't dead. He wakes up in a hospital room, and he's totally okay. So, yep, had to have that. Here's the thing. This is like the moment. This is where Harley, in continuity, separates from the Joker, becomes her own character, and therefore the juggernaut of DC that she had become for that period of time. The one that is seen now in movies and such like that. It is an important issue. This is a key issue, I would say, in Harley's story. That being said, it kind of is just a whatever, you know? Like, in terms of death of the family, completely unnecessary. The fact that Joker's around, like, yeah, but it's not, this isn't breaking down Batman's family, as is the point of the event. This is just its own separate thing. In terms of Suicide Squad, again, they barely managed to tie it into the plot in general. If it wasn't for that last Deadshot panel, it wouldn't be a Suicide Squad book. It would just be a Harley Quinn issue that they had 2 pages of Amanda Waller just watching. And then you get to Harley Quinn. And in terms of character, this is probably one of her most important issues. And it just kind of feels like they were too beholden to the other two of trying to make those work to really focus on the fact that this is the Harley focused one. So it's pulled all over. It's a little bit iffy. But I do recognize its importance. So I'm going to go ahead and say this one's like a 6.5. It's good. It's above average, but it does have some issues with it. And I think the biggest issue is that it had to happen in a Suicide Squad book during a tie-in. Like, all of that just brings this big moment down a little bit. So 6.5. We'll see what happens post tie-ins now.